Guys, welcome back to another video. As you saw in my previous video, you can see that I was just out of words. I could not think. I was just in shock in a good way. I personally could not process what I saw. Take it from me, I am probably the biggest Tobey Maguire fan there is. I am not joking. I love Andrew and Tom. More Andrew. It goes Tobey, Andrew, and then Tom. But what I saw in that movie was insane. That movie is possibly one of the best movies ever created. It was just a masterpiece. It was a fun, messy, emotional masterpiece. I loved most of it. It was a little slow in the beginning, but I loved it. It was insane. So let's talk about a little bit of what we saw. Guys, I'm still out of words. I've seen it twice already. I'm going to go see it tomorrow again. But I have no words for what I saw. Like right now, I'm sure YouTubers have, a list of what they want to talk about, notes of what to say. I'm just going off my head. I'm going at the top of my head. So, like I said, I have no words for what I saw. And I still have no words, so I'm just going to shoot it out there. No pun intended. Anyway, guys, I walk into the theater. I already have expectations. I already know it's bound to happen. I'm very good with movies. I know, anticipate. I'm not one to catch by surprise, but I'll still react the way I should react. You know what I mean? But, I walk into the theater and I'm watching this movie. I'm just out of words. Like I said in my previous video, I turn to my brother and I look at him and I tell him, we're here. We're actually here. We're watching this movie after all this time. And, when I saw Charlie Cox, I was, like I said, in shock. I do care about that character, but I just wanted to see Tobey and Andrew. Tobey more, obviously, of course. But when I saw Charlie Cox, in my head, I'm like, this is actually happening. Of course, I expected it. Like I said, he was the lawyer, and, when I saw him, it was insane. Absolutely insane. And when he caught that brick, everybody freaked out. Keep in mind, this is on a Thursday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to. I had to. But, guys, just for that character, Charlie Cox, Daredevil, he's going to stay in the MCU. He's going to have other projects. He's said to be in She-Hulk. But yeah, when I saw him, I freaked out. I'm watching this movie and I'm seeing how developed these characters are. Doc Ock, Alfred Molina did great. Just the way he was. Willem Dafoe was great. All the other characters were great too. But just those two, it's just nostalgia and it's just the classic feel to the movie. And it added great story. Even though the story was it was like a rush story, but it doesn't matter. It was a great movie. It was insane. It was an insane movie. Who cares? There was a part of the movie where Willem Dafoe quotes his iconic line, "I'm something of a scientist myself." It was so great to hear that. It's just little things that you appreciate, and that was one of them. You know, when Doc Ock would talk about Toby, say that that wasn't his Peter Parker, and the way he would say how Norman died and that they're out to fight ghosts. I know we saw that in the TV spot, but they added more to it. I'm not gonna go too into depth, but you know, you also have Flint Marko talk about it, that they both died, and it was just great. It was great to see all those villains too. You know, you had the Lizard, you had Jamie Foxx, Electro, Thomas Hayden Church, Sandman, Doc Ock, Guy from Molina, Willem Dafoe. It was a great experience. So when Toby and Andrew arrive, I had a I had an employee tell me that I wasn't going to expect how Andrew and Toby were to come in. And I had told him, we'll see about that. Well, I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm like, dude, you know, I'm going to have an idea once I see the movie. Once I'm watching the movie, I'm going to know what to expect next. So, like, I can anticipate. And just him saying that, you know, he kind of ruined the movie. He didn't ruin it, but, you know, it's like, dude, that just makes me anticipate it a little better. But it's fine. You know, when you had Ned do the little thingy, people said that, oh, I thought it was going to be Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm like, dude, if you are expecting to see Toby and Andrew, that was it. And it was. But, you know, you're already so far into the movie, they haven't brought out Toby and Andrew yet. That's going to be the part. It's pretty obvious. But it's fine. So when I see Ned do that, I'm like, here we go. And my heart starts beating and beating and beating. And, you know, I see him from a distance. And then you see him, like, look. And he's, like, waving. And he's, like, coming, like, he's, like, hopping, kind of. And once I saw the mask, I was just almost out of my chair. You know, I have my brother tell me, my other brother, I have two brothers. I have my other brother tell me, you know, I was like, oh, I'm not going to sit next to you because you freak out too much. You're embarrassed. It's embarrassing or something like that. And then I freak out. This dude, he's on the other side. You know, I'm with my brothers. This dude screams on the top of his lungs, freaking out. I also freaked out. I didn't care because I'm into the movie. So I'm just screaming. And the whole theater was screaming, but I was screaming because I can scream. But it was just the way he acted and the way he portrayed Spider-Man was just out of this world. It was great acting. He was amazing. Amazing Spider-Man. He was great. You know, he's funny. Really nice. The way he played Spider-Man, it was just great. You know, you can't complain about Andrew. You have none bad to say about Andrew. So now they're still trying to get Tom. So he does it again. Obviously, you're gonna expect Toby. You know, you're gonna save him for last. Come on, you know Toby's the best. Come on. So when you see him stand there, and he's like looking from the side, and he just comes in, that's when I scream, and I'm like, let's go, but like really, really loud. It was bad, but everybody else was screaming, so I wasn't the only one screaming my lungs out, but I didn't because everybody else was, but I screamed the loudest, but you can't tell because everybody else is screaming. Anyways, when Toby comes out, I'm just freaking out, and then, you know, he beats Andrew. Whoever watched the movie, you know, whoever didn't watch the movie, you shouldn't be watching this, but you can't blame me. You can't get mad at me because you gotta watch the movie. And you clicked on the video, and it's your fault. It's not, you can't blame me. So, anyway. Yeah, it was just, he comes out, he beats Andrew. Well, he's talking nice. He looks at Ned's grandma. She says hi to him. She freaked out when she saw Andrew. She was like, oh my God. Like, she screamed. She got scared. But, she sees Toby, and it's like they know he's the best. So they have Ned's grandma, say hi to him like that. And he says hi. And then he sees Andrew. And then, they have the little, 10 to 15 second little fight. Not a fight, but yeah. And then he gets Andrew. He stops his web shooter. And then they go see Tom. They go visit him. Tom's freaking out, telling him that, they got to go back. It's their fault. They can deal with them. They just start giving Tom advice not to let rage consume him and just to stay focused. They start talking about, Uncle Ben, Gwen, May. Just a really touching moment. So now they go to the lab, to the school, and they start, working with each other, and it's just, I'm just smiling the whole time. I'm not even talking. I could care less about my surroundings. So now they're at the Statue of Liberty, getting ready to fight. They're preparing and stuff, and they're just talking for like 3 to 5 minutes. And you got Toby doing his back. Nobody understood that. Some people didn't understand that. I'm like, that's a reference to Spider-Man 2. His back. Andrew cracks his back. They just start talking about villains. They talk about Toby's webs. It's just a great time, That's what Spider-Man do. They're just funny. And they're, it's just a great experience. They couldn't work together. They were trying to figure it out. You had Tom say that he was in the Avengers, that he wasn't bragging. You got Toby saying, like, that's great. What is that? Oh, it was so hilarious. And then you had Andrew say, are you in a band? It was just great. And then you got Tom still, like, talking about it. And nobody noticed, but, like, it was actually hilarious. Toby was like, he's like, how is this helping? I died. It was hilarious. If you guys watch it again, you'll notice. I don't know why nobody noticed it. It was funny. It was funny. But yeah, they ended up working together. They figured it out. I got all that fight scenes. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but that part where they come in together, they're swinging together, it was, I told myself, I was like, what can get better than this? This is amazing. This is great. How is this not one of the top MCU movies? It was amazing. The swinging was perfect. The synchronization between the characters, the way they were together was perfect. It was beautiful. At the end, when Tom was punching the heck out of Green Goblin, he was about to stab him with the glider. He had Toby come and stop him. And his back's turned to Green Goblin. And in my head, I didn't notice it at first, but I was thinking about it. He gets stabbed. And I'm freaking out. And I'm telling myself, they're not going to kill him. They're not going to kill him. There's no way. They can't do that. I'm like, but is there a possibility? And I'm like questioning myself. And everybody's quiet. Everybody's quiet. Because you got Toby. Come on. That's everybody's Spider-Man. That's the first Spider-Man. But in my head, I'm like, no way. And you had Andrew come. Tom didn't even care. It looked like he didn't even care. I don't know what it was. He was too focused on Green Goblin, but Andrew's worrying about everybody. Keep in mind, I forgot about this. he huddles everybody. They huddle up, and he goes, "Guys, wait. I love you guys." That was beautiful. And also, the part that hit me the most emotional part. I don't cry at movies, but I could have. This part was so emotional when he saved MJ. That part hit me the most because we all knew that he didn't save Gwen, and it reminded him of that. And that was just, it was a good moment for him. It was a good and bad moment for him because, he probably still thinks that he could have saved Gwen some other way, but it just had to happen like that. But yeah, back to where Andrew comes in asking Toby if he's all right. He's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." He asked him if he was all right. And then Toby says this, and this is where you're like, it was just like a weight taken off of your shoulders. He goes, "Yeah, I'm all right. I've been stabbed before." I was like, whew. And then he's looking up. You got Doctor Strange up there trying to close up the portals and everything. And Toby looks up. He's like, "Is that real or am I dying?" I was cracking up. But yeah, I thought Toby was going to die, but I didn't think he was going to die. But I did, but I didn't. I was just freaking out. But other than that, guys, the movie was rewarding, if I do say so myself. He had Andrew's humor. He had Toby's lovable character. But you can appreciate these characters more in this movie. You can most definitely appreciate the character more. Especially Tom, too. Surprisingly. Because I don't like his character that much. But, I liked him this one. Andrew and Toby are just... they stole the show. Andrew probably more because I feel like Sony had did him a little dirty. So I guess they felt bad and they wanted him to step it up in this one. Andrew's a great actor, so that's no problem for him. Toby's Toby. You can't hate him. But yeah, guys, the movie was a fun, messy, emotional experience. I give it a 9.2, as I said in the previous video. This movie will have you appreciate Spider-Man. I'm still right now questioning how it was possible to make this. After all these years and months talking about it, freaking out about it, thinking about it, and I saw it almost a week ago. It's like, what now? I'm still lost for words. But this movie was great. This movie was a masterpiece. It's a great film. At the end, the way they kind of took from Spider-Man PS4, he had his own apartment. The way he had his phone to listen to the radio. And the suit at the end. That suit was beautiful. That suit was accurate, but I say accurate on the money. It was beautiful. It was perfect. I still prefer Toby's suit, but that suit, if they continue that, it'd be perfect. Guys, watch Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to watch it for the third time tomorrow. I love this movie. I love Andrew. I love Toby. I love Tom. I love the movie. I'm lost for words.